proper?
It's the North Carolina Cooperative Extension, the Carteret County
A
office.
Carter County office. Okay. And again, I just want to make mention of this to the audience. Great resource. And quite frankly, if you acknowledge the fact that your taxes do support it, it's basically free. It's available for you. So take advantage of this. Now, I say that with a little bit of jest, but Sean, there are so many services that are available through the Agriculture Extension Agency, but also the ability to make right decisions on lawn care and gardens and things of this nature. So enough promotion of your services in your office. So what's on tap today?
Well, what I wanted to talk about today is the next week is the 50th. Well, it's the 50th anniversary this year of the invention of the Extension Master Gardener Volunteer Program.
Oh, okay.
And so next week has been declared the National Extension Master Gardener Volunteer Week. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Extension Master Gardener Volunteers and what they do, and encourage people to go around, and if you know a Master Gardener volunteer, thank them for what they do for us, and ask them a question. That's what they're there for.
Make them work for their
Right.
their keep.
Well, they have a really good deal. It is volunteer work, so they're volunteering their time, and what the Master Gardener Volunteer Program was established to do is back in 1972. That is 50 years ago, right?
Right.
Okay. Back in 1972, a couple of extension agents that were working with agriculture in the state of Washington, in the Seattle area, they found that they were spending so much time answering home gardening questions that they wanted to figure out a way that they could multiply their efforts. So they got the okay from their university to go ahead and train some volunteers to help answer those home gardening questions, to free up some of their time so that they could focus a little bit more on the commercial end of agriculture and what was going on there. And so they started this program where they would train the Master Gardener volunteers on how to answer these questions using research-based information from their university. And then within 4 or 5 years, it was all across the nation. And all the land-grant universities were using the Extension Master Gardener volunteers as a way of reaching the home gardener and answering their questions, to allow the agent to focus a little bit more on the commercial end of horticulture and not necessarily have to spend all their time answering home gardening questions.
Okay. Obviously, they're talking about home gardening questions, but there are some technical issues here, and I'll use something that I constantly talk about or ask you about. It has to do with fertilization and care of our plants, our yards, and things of this nature. And do they give recommendations on that sort of thing?
Yes, actually, we have, and the reason they work through the university is because we have that research-based information to help the homeowners, and a lot of homeowners just don't know where to find it. So it's easier for them to call up the extension office. And then when they talk to an Extension Master Gardener volunteer and they say, is it time to go ahead and fertilize my lawn? The Master Gardener can ask them what kind of lawn they have. Look that up in the pamphlets that we have on the lawn maintenance calendars, and then help them figure out when they need to start fertilizing that particular type of lawn.
Okay, next question related to Master Gardeners, and we're going to talk about that because you have a program underway as we speak. How does one get hold of a Master Gardener? Do they call your office directly and then we're directed to a Master Gardener, possibly in the vicinity of the caller's residence or business?
One of the great things about the extension office or the extension service that we have here in North Carolina is that we do have a county office in every single county.
Right.
Plus, we have one on the Cherokee Reservation, so 101 offices.
Okay.
And each of the offices has the opportunity to have Extension Master Gardener volunteers. All the offices that I know of in this area have Extension Master Gardener volunteers. And if you call your county's office with a home gardening question, a lot of times you'll get directed to that Master Gardener phone line, and the Master Gardeners will be able to answer your call. Now, they aren't there 24/7.
Right.
So you may need to leave a message, but usually there are volunteers there. And since we're into March, this starts to become our busier season. And so we usually will start having, in Carteret County, we have master gardeners there to answer phone calls twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays.
Actually on site.
Yeah, we'll have them there on site to answer questions
okay.
Monday and Thursday. And then if you call the rest of the week, they'll get put into a voicemail, and they'll call back to answer those questions.
Variety of questions to ask you about the Master Gardener program, and because we're talking with Sean Banks of North Carolina Agriculture Extension Agency, the Carteret County office.
Right.
I'm getting it. Did I use the word cooperative?
Yes.
I did. Okay. All right. Sean is here. We're talking with him on Coastal Gardener, and we talk with him a great deal of regularity. We also talk to Dr. Tom Glasgow in Craven County from time to time. Haven't had the opportunity to do that recently. But, Sean, back to the Master Gardener. I've talked to staff here with the Cooperative Extension Agency in the past, and there's some that are more knowledgeable about, for example, livestock and the critters. Others that are more interested in and knowledgeable about gardens and lawns. And then you have those that are knowledgeable about trees and shrubs. It's the same. Do you have the same delineation within the Master Gardener program to begin with?
A lot of times master gardeners will have areas that they already have a great deal of knowledge in.
Okay.
So yes, there'll be some that are more knowledgeable about native plants and ornamental plants or turf grass and things like that. So yeah, there'll be some that'll have more knowledge on different things.
Okay, so if I'm interested in becoming a Master Gardener, which would be deadly to the vast majority of the green in our area. By the way, we're recording this on St. Patrick's Day, saying green. And I don't notice you wearing any green, by the way.
I forgot it was St. Patrick's Day.
We'll pinch him afterwards. All right. The point is that some people may say, well, I know I'm really more interested in forestry or being an arborist rather than worrying about gardens and things of this nature. So there's a place for that individual as a Master Gardener.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
And they can take their knowledge, and we do get questions about trees, shrubs, turf grass, vegetables, fruit trees, just about everything. And so if you have a specialty that you really want to work with, there's a place.
Okay. Obviously, with the Master Gardener, the concept is they're all generalists. But,
Yes.
But you have Master Gardeners, I'm hearing from you, that have certain strengths.
Correct.
Okay. So as a volunteer that day, I get a question on a topic that I know something about. I might, in the process, say, wait a second, I'm going to connect you with blank, in this case, Sean, who knows a lot about, for example, trees.
Right. Well, usually it won't always work that way, but we do have some, like if there's a person that's really wanting some good information about native plants, we have a couple of volunteers that work with us that have a vast amount of knowledge on native plants. And if we can't answer that question, if it's a more difficult question than the general knowledge, then we'll refer them to that person and get them to help answer those questions.
Okay. I know this is not necessarily connected, but I mentioned a few moments ago critters, livestock.
Right.
Do the Master Gardeners also go into that area? For example, we've talked about this related to avian flu and the raising of chickens and things of this nature, but do they also get involved in that?
No, they are strictly to do home horticulture questions. And what you're talking about would be agriculture or livestock questions, and we don't give them training on livestock. So we ask them if they get a question from somebody about avian flu to refer that back to the agent.
Okay, I didn't mean to bring up just avian flu, but you've got a situation, backyard chicken coops and things of this nature.
Right, yes. And I had a question come in last week about a problem that somebody was having with their chicken, not avian flu, but something different.
Right.
And I'm not a livestock agent either, but I know who to ask about chicken questions. So I referred to the poultry specialist and got an answer from them and then returned that. So it might take a little bit longer if we don't have an agent in the county that specializes in that, but we can get the answers.
All right, we're talking with Sean Banks. We're talking right now about the program Master Gardener. A few more questions right after this break, but are you finding growing interest in the Master Gardener program?
Yes, we're getting more and more people who are interested in that. We're also getting more and more people that are calling up and asking questions. So it's a good thing that we're starting to have a little bit more of a balance between the number of questions coming in and the number of people interested in helping out and volunteering that way.
All right. After the break, I want to ask you about the procedure for becoming a master gardener, because we've talked about this in the past. You've got a program underway as we speak, if I'm correct.
Yes.
All right. More to come here on Coastal Gardener. It's Coastal Gardener on the Talk Station, FM 107.1. A portion of the program I always enjoy talking with Sean Banks, because to acknowledge a fact, I do not have a green thumb. I have a black thumb. I wear green so to confuse everyone. But I am interested and kind of fascinated by the interest in plants and ornamentals and gardens and what have you, and enjoy gardens insofar as the fruit of the garden. I really appreciate people providing me fresh tomatoes and things like this. All right, so let's talk about the process of becoming a master gardener. This being the 50th anniversary, what's involved in that?
Well, a lot of times what we ask, or each county is a little bit different, but generally what we will ask is that you fill out an application. The agent will look over the application and make sure you have the minimum qualifications that we are looking for, which generally is some gardening knowledge and some background in that, but also a desire to share that knowledge with the general public. And then we'll have a class, and most of our classes will consist of at least 40 hours of educational time. I know one county, they do a whole lot more educational hours than the 40 hours.
What's involved in that 40 hours?
But what we do in that 40 hours is we use the Extension Gardener Handbook, which is available online in online copies, or you can get a hard copy. But what that does is we'll go over topics like we've covered soils, we'll cover botany, we'll cover insects, weeds, diseases, how to do diagnostics. Then we'll cover things like vegetables, fruits, berries, turf grass. We may cover composting some years, and some years we may not. But we'll cover a lot of these topics, and we'll cover them to the point where you'll be familiar with where you can find the answers to common questions that come in. We don't expect you to be an expert and be able to answer questions off the top of your head every time a question comes in, because there are still questions that come into my office that I have to scratch my head a little bit and do a little bit of research as well. So we know that as agents, we know that we've gone through 4, 5, 6 years of school to get the background that we need in order to answer the questions. We can't expect volunteers to have that information ingrained in their brains within 40 hours. But after we finish with that class, then we ask that the volunteers give back 40 hours of their time that first year to volunteering and helping answer questions using that research-based information that we've shared with them to help other people in the community get that knowledge that they need in order to have better and prettier yards and gardens.
Do you have hands-on activity for the master gardeners where they actually go out and till the soil or actually plant the plants?
Well, some of the activities that we have, yes.
Okay.
We have one of our things that I ask the master gardeners to do as part of their training is to go to a propagation workshop that we have once a week with the volunteers over at the Beaufort Historic Association.
Okay.
And so they'll get some hands-on activity there. When I'm teaching a class and doing a lecture, I like to have some hands-on activities so that they're not just getting the book knowledge, but they're also getting some practical experience on how to answer
How much time
questions.
does a class last?
I do my classes in 3-hour blocks.
Okay.
So it's a 3-hour class. About half of that will be lecture, and about half of that will be hands-on experience, so that they'll kind of understand a little bit more.
Now, I want to make note of this. You have limited seats available for.
Right.
All right.
My classroom, I only have enough space to probably fit, if I was to max out the number of people, I could probably fit 24 people in there,
Okay.
and then it would be kind of crowded.
So do you have people on a waiting list trying to get into the
If
program?
I was to get that many people, I would be kind of scared.
Okay.
Right now, I have the most people I've ever had in a class here in Carteret County, and that's 14.
Okay.
But that's a good number. There's enough there for people to get questions
How
and
do
stuff.
people find out about the program? And, well, 2 questions. How do they find out about it?
Well, the way that they find out about it a lot of times is they'll run into a master gardener at
Okay.
a farm stand or at a farmer's market
Mhm.
or one of the other activities that we volunteer at, and they'll say, "Ooh, that's really interesting. I think I want to do that as well."
Do Master Gardeners wear any kind of uniform or get some sort of medallion?
They do have a name tag that has the Master Gardener logo
Okay.
on there.
All right.
And in our case, when we have them go somewhere, we have some aprons for them to wear that have
Okay.
the Master Gardener Extension Master Gardener on there with the logo, so that people know who they are.
I know that Master Gardeners have in the past also done some voluntary activities. They've, tackled they created a project. Is that part of the program, or is that just a matter of someone saying, "Hey, let's do this"?
Part of what that is that's they find a niche or a need in an
Okay.
area. I have a couple of Master Gardener volunteers that are working with the Boys and Girls Club
Mm-hmm.
to do a garden there to give them some practical experience growing their own food. I have some Master Gardener volunteers that work at what they call a goodness garden,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like a plant a row project
Right.
where they grow the stuff, and we're going to do some educational programming at that garden this year to show people how to plant and what to look for when they're getting ready to harvest. One of the things I noticed is that a lot of people don't know what a ripe cucumber looks like, or
Mhm.
when
Right.
the cucumber's ready to harvest. So we'll do some short videos on that this year and get that taken care of as well.
Again, we're talking with Sean Banks of North Carolina Cooperative Agriculture Extension Agency in the Carteret County office, and I'm getting there with the full name here yet. Sean, several questions related to Master Gardeners. I've mentioned, asked you, and they get a certificate of some nature. Of course, you now have a long alumni list of Master Gardeners.
I do.
That's one. But the second question goes to continuing education, because things are changing. I mean, for example, we will soon not have Roundup on our shelves. I'm just picking something that I know something about. Well, that may be reversed. I bet you anything, because they really haven't come up with anything to replace that. But
Right.
but the real issue is there's so many changes. There are variants of plants and new challenges, diseases and things of this nature. Are there continuing education programs for Master Gardeners?
Yes, we do require that the Master Gardeners get 10 hours of continuing education each year, which is really simple to do. Each month, from usually February through October, we have what's called a plant pest pathogen broadcast, which is an hour-and-a-half broadcast once a month, where they get the latest update on what to be looking for. So they get BOLOs, or be on the lookout
Mhm.
for
Right.
this or that insect or disease. They get updates on new and invasive things that are coming up. So new plants that are coming on the market, or invasive pests that are coming into the area. They'll get updates on that, what to look for. So it is important for them to keep up on their education, just like it's important for me to keep up with mine.
Okay. Are you maintaining some sort of record or document on the people that are Master Gardeners? And do you find at times that you have to call on these Master Gardeners in other words, have they sort of quietly disappeared, or do they stay active?
Sometimes they'll quietly disappear. Sometimes they'll just say, "Look, just can't do this anymore," and they'll let me know
Okay.
to put
All right.
them. And a lot of times we can either give them. We have a few that have gotten to the point where age has gotten their bones a little bit
Right,
brittle,
right.
and they can't get up and down as easily as they used to. And so we'll give them emeritus status so they can help out when they want and keep up with what's going on through
Sweet.
emails and whatnot. But if they just want to become alumnus, they can do that as well, and then they don't receive the emails anymore, and that's one less email each month that shows up in their inbox. But we usually try to keep up with those that we can, so that we can let them know that we're still thinking about them.
All right, you've got a program underway right now. How many programs do you do in a year?
Once a year. It takes 3 months to do the program, to
Okay.
have the classes,
Okay.
because we meet once a week for 3 hours, and so it takes quite a bit of
Mhm.
effort to get that put together, and then it takes effort for them to put together their 40 hours of volunteer work during the next 12 months.
Do you create a sort of I'll use the word fraternity, a sorority, or a community of Master Gardeners? Do they get together periodically?
We do have, and I think this is the case for most counties, is that we usually have a monthly meeting where
Uh-huh.
we'll have sometimes an educational program, but usually There'll be a little bit of education involved and some business planning to keep everybody up to date with what activities are going on and what they might want to look at for volunteer opportunities.
Okay, Sean, the other question I've got to ask is demographics, and that would be both age and gender. Majority of the participants are over the age of and over the age of. And by the way, do you have any high schoolers that are Master Gardeners?
I do not. I've been doing the program during the day, so that kind of prohibits the younger crowd and those that are still working for a living from being able to participate in that. I've been playing with the idea of possibly doing some just general gardening classes in the evening for people that want to take some general gardening classes. But as far as our demographic, they're mostly retired. There are a few that still work or still have some kids at home. But for the most part, they're retired people that have,
Male or female?
in our county, it's mostly female.
Okay.
I find here in our county, if they're retired, they like to go fishing when they're male.
Oh, yes. Or hunting. Yeah, that's right.
Or hunting, yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
And
yes.
that's fine. We appreciate all kinds, and we'll help whoever we can.
All right, we're wrapping up with you again, Sean Banks of the North Carolina Cooperative Agriculture Extension Agency and Carteret County Division. We've got one in every county, as he just mentioned, by the
Right.
way. Right now, obviously, things are beginning to green up. Do the Master Gardeners find themselves being called on more often?
We will usually get more calls starting in March and April and going through the summer until usually around September, October is when they start slowing down a little bit. But we'll get calls throughout the year as well.
Now, of course, gardening is a year-round activity. You have, winter gardening, you have summer, you have fall. So I would assume that you've got some you've got some Master Gardeners that are pretty active in that area.
Yeah, we have some volunteers that are doing something just about year round.
Wow.
There's weeds that need to be pulled in the winter, just like during the summer, and so couple of
Wait a
things that
second. I figured that was one of the benefits of being a Master Gardener. The weeds stayed out of your yard, in your garden. No, it doesn't. Oh, well, that defeats the purpose.
Yeah, there's still things that need to be done during the winter time. So it's planting, pulling weeds. We do have some educational gardens that we
Okay.
take care of, so we help to maintain those and then have some educational programs at the gardens.
Somebody wants to get more information about this and other programs from the Cooperative Agriculture Extension Agency. How would they do so? Give you a call?
Yeah, they could give us a call, and you can find the website for your county office by putting in your county name. So, for example, if you were in Onslow County, you would put onslow.ces.ncsu.edu, or you could do the same thing for Carteret or Craven or Jones or whatever
Alright.
county. And then you can find the meet our staff part and just call the office and ask for the person that works with the Master Gardeners.
Sean Banks with us this afternoon. Thanks very much, Sean. Appreciate your time.
All right, thanks.